Hey everybody, Jim Malone here, coming to you live on Dallas Trading Floor. It is Thursday. Wow, and the market is up, which is a good thing, actually. I was getting a little bit concerned. We did have a little bit of a bounce today, and that's a good thing. Really, it is. And some very interesting news. There's a company called OATLY, probably have seen it, at the grocery store. They make oat kind of vegan type dairy products, imitation dairy products, and they're doing very, very well. Just came out of the chute today. Also, I took a position in space, which is really odd. It popped up today, got in on it a little bit, and we'll see what happens, with that. So, who knows what's going to happen with space? But I may be selling it before it comes on earnings, but I don't know. It seems to have moved up today, and I was shaving, and I just because I basically I was shaving my beard there, and I kind of cut myself. So boy, that's pretty dumb. But anyways, let's get let's get to the stuff here. Let's see. So let's go with pull it up here. Let's pull up our window. There we go. Hopefully this will give us. Yeah, there we go. So that's actually working today. Wow, that's novel. See if I can kind of yeah, there we go. That's looking better. Well, anyways, basically what's happening here is finally the NASDEQ is moving back up. Now, the closer it gets to that 14,000 line, the better off we are. So that is indeed a good thing. The S&P is up too, up about 1%. Finally, we're starting to get a bounce in the right direction. Sorry about that. I lost my mic, one of my cords. I need to get more wireless stuff. But anyways, it's moving up and moving up very nicely. It's a little bit down in volume, so it's kind of mixed. I mean, I'd like to see more volume here, but oh, wait a minute, I have lost my feed here. So let's see if I can get the camera back. Let's see if it'll let me. There we go. Okay. Again, having this trouble just pulling in and out. I think it's bandwidth. I've doubled the bandwidth, and still I'm still seeing some problems. So, yeah, go figure. It's always something. Let's see if we can get everything done here. Yeah, there we go. And it is the 20th. That up there so that everyone can see it. Okay, super. Okay, fine. Now we're cooking along. Anyways, moving up towards that very, very important 14,000 on the NASDAQ. Finally, we're getting some movement there, which is great, and which is really good. Now, I want to kind of show you this very interesting startup. Let's see if we can kind of, yeah, there we go. It's a company called OATLY, and it's just done terrific, and I just want to kind of show you. Basically the IPO came out at about 15, but I kind of want to show you this one. I wouldn't buy this one yet, but it's very interesting. I mean, it basically priced right at about 17. We've got some air shoot. There we go. Okay, this one priced right about right about 17, and then it's just moved up very nicely. $20 is up $5 a share, or about 33%. Now, obviously, I wouldn't buy this one right away. Let's wait for it to settle, but this one could be kind of a superstar. Oh, we lost our camera there again, so sorry about that. All right, so let's see if we can get that back. Okay, there we go. Just bandwidth issues, I think, more than anything else. But anyways, this one's OATLY. It's OTLY. That's a symbol that it's trading under, and one you might want to take a look at. I also took a small position in space today. As you can see, it had been in a downward trend for a long time, but for some reason, and I don't know why, moved up 14% today. I came in, in about the $17 level. So we'll see how we're doing on this one. You never know. I'm probably going to sell it before. Part of the reason that we're such a big excitement here with Virgin, and I've been in Virgin before, but I haven't really bought it since it peaked back here in February. I haven't been in it. It's been in a downward trend. Now, the question is, do we have a reversal on this? We'll see. Basically, they're looking at a test on their spaceship 2. So we'll see. They've got a lot of deposits. Again, this is highly speculative. I wouldn't recommend anything more than about a half or a quarter position on this one. Just very speculative, but this is also one that I moved in today. It's got a terrible composite rating of 11. Normally I don't buy them like this, but the volume is up and the price is up, so I figured, well, why not take a chance on that? Just kind of show you what I'm holding currently. Again, I'm in Apple. I'm still in Apple. I did sell a call against it, so I'll probably be called out of this one. It's finally made a bounce, which is good. That's kind of the reason why I think the NASDEQ is up, is that, we finally, now the question is how much, will Apple move higher? We'll see, what's going on there. We'll see. Down a little bit on Matador, just a tiny fraction, 4 cents, not much. Volumes down on Matador. This is one of the oil companies. Whiting Petroleum, this is one that's up. It seems like it's a rotation. I have 2 of these petroleums, and then I also have this one here. This is a gold miner, Newmont Mining. And then, of course, as I said, I added space SPCE today. So that's kind of where I've been, where I've been going on this. Just wanted to kind of give you a look-see. Also, we have a special Discord service, and we did put out a very nice trade on Tesla today. And by the way, if you're looking on TikTok right now, you can see all this. It's on youtube.com/Dallas Trading Floor, and you'll be able to see the live feed for this one as we do it. But I have a very nice trade on Tesla. You could just go to the go to my profile, hit the link, and you'll be taken right to the beacons where you can take a look at that. And by the way, if you want to sign up for the free action trade alerts, super easy to do it there. So that's kind of the long and the short of it. We need to start to get into some of these questions. So thanks for holding with me, and it looks like I got my feedback here. I'm so excited when this thing works. It works. Doesn't always work. All right, thank you, Amat. Let's take a look at. Oh, you're at Ghirardelli Square. I used to live in San Francisco, so love Ghirardelli Square there in San Francisco. Wonderful place. Okay, so let's look at BTU. I'm going to bring this one up in our little window here. Well, let's see. All right, and let's bring this up. Here we go. Pulling it up right as we speak now. It's exciting. Thanks for holding on. So BTU is what we want to take a look at here. All right. Okay, there we go. Peabody, a coal play. Wow, this is amazing. I haven't seen Peabody in years and years and years. This is an incredibly large mining company that is big in the coal business. Now, when I used to live back east, that was a long time ago when I was growing up in the Washington, D.C. area, I would see Peabody all the time. Now, what's going on with it? Well, let's pull back to the weekly chart to see kind of what's happening. Well, you know what? Looks like it's starting to heal here a little bit. Currently, it's off about 10 cents, down about 1.54% on the weekly. So it's a pretty slow moving stock, but the critical thing there is it's moved above the 200-day line. So that's looking good. The relative strength is 98, which is extremely strong. Now, it does look like it did come through earnings, and it looks like it disappointed there a little bit. So I'd be a little bit careful with this one. Their sales were down 29% quarter for quarter, and they are unfortunately in a loss position. They lost 79 cents a share. I'd be very, very careful buying this one right now, just because this is a commodity stock. This is based on the price of coal, and while I do think coal, it hasn't ended yet, I do think that the movement is just away from coal right now, and so it's a little bit difficult. This one I think you got to be super careful on. Even if it's going up, I probably wouldn't buy it, just because coal. I just think you've got to stay away from coal, because really the new electric plants that are coming online, they're decommissioning coal fired plants, and this is one of the few companies left that's really big in this field. I just think you have to be careful. I think you really just have to be careful here, and I wouldn't be in this one just because of that. It's got a very strong relative strength. And the checklist isn't bad at 55, but I just, this one is just, I think it's just too risky for an equity play. Now, if you had like a preferred share or something like this on this one, I'd consider it. But I just think with a cash flow of negative 1544, even though this has an extremely low PE, I would stay away from this one. I just would, just because it's just too risky, when it comes down to it. But let's look at BTX and see if there's anything there. So let's look at BTX. Yeah, so for coal miners, I mean, even though they look good, you just got to be so careful. And this is a biotech. Again, this is an area you can definitely make money in the biotechs, but it is just so risky when it comes to things. This is a tough area to trade. I just really think that you really got to be careful here, because this one is down. Their profits are down. It's in a negative. It's negative. It does have extremely strong relative strength. So that's good. But it's got a 44 checklist. I just think you got to avoid it. I just really think you've got to avoid this one. Unfortunately, I mean, I would like to see it better. Let's look at the daily chart to see. Yeah, this has a classic blow off top. This is a short squeeze here. Unfortunately, that's the reason it shot up here to 80. You think, well, gosh, why would it do that? Well, you are looking at a classic short squeeze with Brooklyn immunotherapy. You're looking at a classic short squeeze. This is what happens when a lot of people short it, and then goes up just a tad, and then they have to cover their positions, and that's exactly what happened here. It basically went from 20 to 80. Stay out of this one. I just think that there's some issues here with this one. I just would be very careful. This is a short squeeze. Let's look at the short interest on it to see. Yeah, look at that. It's a 55% short interest. So they missed their earnings. They got the short squeeze. I think I just think this one, you got to stay out of this one. Unfortunately, it's just it's not going the right direction. It's not going the right direction, unfortunately. But I really appreciate those two questions. Excellent questions, by the way. Let me take a question here from Gunnar. No, Samuel. OATLY, is it a buy right now? Well, I'm not buying it, but I think it's very interesting. OATLY, OTLY. That's a symbol. I guess that's a symbol. Is that right? Yeah. OTLY. I should know this because I put it on my slide. Yeah. This is, it's really hard to buy them like this because this is just coming right out of the box here. And, there's just really nothing to go on. I mean, it literally just came out of the box. And let's kind of, just for grins, let's look at let's see if we can get a 5-minute chart on it just to see. Yeah, okay. Well, it shot up here. Oh, look at that. It's creating some strength. What I'm doing here, and by the way, if you're looking on TikTok, if you jump over to YouTube, you can see exactly the charts that I'm looking at right now. Unfortunately, I can't broadcast them on TikTok, but if you jump over to youtube.com/Dallas Trading Floor, or easier even than that is just go to my profile, hit the link, and you'll be taken right to a page, and then scroll all the way down, and the YouTube feed will be right there as I'm talking about it right now. I'm talking about OATLY, this company that it's very big in the vegan area, and it does look like it. It seems like it's settled here at about at about 245 or so, like that. This is the 5-minute chart. I wouldn't be a buyer right now. I think I would wait a little bit on this one, but this one might turn out to be a good deal. I mean, I could see it for this. This is a big area. I mean, Beyond Meat did very, very well. Now, of course, I did a short on Beyond Meat and made some money, but that was after it had run up. So I think this one could run up, and then we might have some good stuff on here. There's definitely a movement away from animal products to plant-based products. I mean, that's just a fact. So OATLY is an excellent place to take advantage of that. And of course, they've got very good distribution, so that's very key in this industry. So I also think that they could be very price competitive. I have a feeling that their products are less expensive to manufacture than the actual animal alternative. So very interesting company. OATLY. I'm not a buyer, but definitely want to put it on your radar screen there. All right, let's look at LPX. This is Louisiana Pacific, and one of the reasons that I was in LPX, unfortunately, I was stopped out. What do I mean by that? Well, what I mean by that is that anytime I enter a position, I always try to put at least a 7% stop loss on it. So if it pulls back and I'm wrong in my entry, then I could get back in. This is up today, and I think it's going to be strong because basically the situation with Louisiana Pacific is, we've got these tremendous lumber prices. They're just doing very, very well, and I don't think that's gonna. I don't think that's gonna end. It looks like it bounced. It looks like it touched the 50-day line. This is actually a very good chart, actually, by the way. It touched that 50-day line. Looks like it bounced. Looks like it's going to move above the 21-day exponential. Right now, it's not actionable, unfortunately. You can't really buy it. But I do think that we're going to see it. We're gonna see it basically move higher. So I definitely really like this one. Unfortunately, the last really good buy point on this one was way back basically in December at 34. And I don't know, and then there was another chance basically at 40, and it looks like we might be forming a base here. Hopefully, at this level, there might be a pocket pivot here. There may be an opportunity. Let's see if I can draw a trend line. Let's see if I can. I don't know if this is valid because I really don't think it is. Yeah, I think we've really got to go to the weekly and see. Yeah, it does look like it's bouncing off that 50-day moving average. So you possibly could buy it above, and I kind of want to look at where the 10-day line is trading. Basically at about 67. We're pretty close to that. I would possibly enter it at 67 with a buy stop limit order. But I do like the stock. And I do think it's probably going to go higher. I mean, I'll be honest with you. Looks like it's reversed, touched that 50-day line, and it does look like it's going to go higher. So, if I was, I would consider putting a buy stop limit order on this one at about a 67.50. I think that's going to be right about where you want to be. Okay, thank you very, very much. Let's look at, this is from Kate. Thank you, Kate. Thank you for coming on every day. I really enjoy it. I like you have good questions. Let's look at NTAP. All right, NTAP and NetApp. Okay, well, this is an old-time favorite. I haven't seen NetApp in a long time. The data storage is improving as an area, so that's not necessarily bad. Now, this is a NASDEQ stock, so basically, this is going to be a situation where, when the NASDEQ is strong, this one will do well. Is it in a place where we could buy it? Well, I don't know. It's got earnings been 13 days. That's a little bit concerning to me. I do like the checklist, though, 66. That's pretty good. And we've got a lot of funds in it, so that's very good. Is the industry? Well, the industry is actually very much improving. So, the question is today, could we be in this area? Well, I don't know. Is it the leader? I'm not sure. But, this is an old company. It's a good company. And it does look like, it's moving up very nicely, hopefully crossing above that $80 line. So let's just take a look at this computer storage area. It's number 43. It's group number 43. Let's kind of take a look to see if we can find a if we can find a this in the listing. So let's I'm just going to look here. So this is an interesting area to me. If the NASDAQ type stocks come back, this could be good. We're still too early though, really, to go in all in. I'm mostly in cash, but I want to see if there's any glimmer of hope here. This is good that you put it in. This is the general chart. It's still trending lower for the entire group, but it looks like we may have seen a bounce here. I don't know. This is a tough call. I'll be honest with you. The biggest in this, of course, is Micron Technologies. Let's look at how Micron is trading right now, because this is sort of the peer to NetApp, and it's still trading lower. You know, here's my look-see on this one, Kate. I think that we're just going to have to be very careful in this particular group. Right now, I think we just have to be more careful in this group. So I would watch this one. I would watch this NetApp, and I would not buy it at this point because the leader, which is Micron, is in a downward trend. So I like to typically buy leaders in the group and not the laggards. Not that NetApp is a laggard, but it isn't the leader. The leader is Micron, and Micron is trending lower. Now, so we lost the. Let's see if I can get that back here. Hold on. Let's see if I can get my. Okay. See if we can do that. All right. Okay, we're back with the camera. We're back with the camera. It keeps going in and out. Don't know why that is the case. But so I would probably pass on this one, Kate, even though it is a good company. I mean, it really is. Let's look at MNRL. MNRL. Let's see, and that's Brigham Minerals. Okay, this engages acquisition royalty. Okay, this is not bad. Royalty Trust. This is the number 2 group, by the way. So I like this one. I talked about this one a little bit in the past. It sort of has pulled back. It seems like it's just a little bit extended, not much. The buy point on this one is 1676. Right now it's 17, and it's pulled back a little bit. The question is, can you buy it here? Well, let's go to the weekly to see if there's just any way we can buy this one, because I do think it's worthwhile taking a look at something like this. These royalty trusts have been doing very, very well, and this is one that is a little bit smaller, and I do like it. Now, it's extended above its buy point, but the buy point, the maximum level that I would consider buying this one probably would be about 1745. So let's see if this thing pulls back down towards that 1676 level, and if it does, then maybe we can possibly buy it. But it does look like there's a nice upward trend on it. It's got a cup base, and it is forming a handle. So, the question is, do we want to buy a handle? I wouldn't buy the handle at this point. I would wait for it to pull back a little bit and see, then have it move to an uptick. But I like this one a lot. MNRL. I guess that's short for mineral. Yeah, I think that's short for mineral. But definitely like it. MNRL, and it's in a royalty trust. Which is the number 2 group currently. So I think it's good to royalty. Did I get that right? Royalty. There we go. I think that's, yeah. Okay, now I misspelled it. There we go. So basically, MRNL is in the it's basically in this group, this oil and gas minerals group. It's number 2 out of 197. So it is pulled back a little bit. It was number 1 last week. It's a very, very strong group, but this is a good one, MRNL, and you could buy it at this level. It's a little bit extended. I would like to see it pull back a little bit more before I bought it, but I think this is an excellent opportunity, and I think that you've picked a very nice one. And I definitely think that that one probably is going to go on my watch list. I hadn't been looking at this one before, but I think I really like this one, MRNL. Thank you, Drunk Squidward. All right. So is OATLY a buy right now? I think you got to wait on OATLY, really. And we talked about that just a second ago. So I don't think it's a buy right now. Let's wait a little bit, see how it trades. That's the main thing. So Christian, thank you so much for this question. Let's BEP. This is Brookfield Renewables. You know what? It's funny. I was several years ago. About 3 years ago. I worked for an energy company here in Dallas. That I was a financial analyst for them that was in the renewable space. And Brookfield is a very, very big company and very strong. It has a lot of it has access to a lot of hydropower in Ontario and in Quebec, and so it's essentially a it's a Canadian-based company, but it's very strong, and I do like the company. But let's look at the chart on it, Brookfield. It seems like it has reversed, and anything that's going to generate electricity, because there's going to be a lot of, whether we like it or not. Now, I'm also big into oil, but anything that's going to generate anything that's going to generate uh, uh, electricity right now is a good thing, because with electric cars coming out, I think their demand is going to be high, and Brookfield is in a very good position because they have access to all that hydropower, which I like better than solar or uh, in the renewables. I like hydropower better than solar or the wind power because I just think it's more reliable and it runs at night. So it has made a movement above the 200-day line. It still has a very low relative strength rating. I don't know if it's reversed yet. Let's take a look at the reversal line here. I'm going to draw a line here, and what I'm doing here, by the way, if you can see, is I am creating what they call a reversal line. This is to see if there's an early breakout. And it does look like, we're getting to the point where there may be a breakout. It's not ready. I wouldn't buy this right now, but I would consider buying this. Let's see if I can get that line. Yeah, let's see if I can get an alert on that line. There we go. There we go. Okay. And what I did here, by the way, I'm using a very good software. It's called MarketSmith, and it lets you draw these trend lines with alerts on the line, something that you really can't do in just about any other charting software. I really like the feature. And basically, I'm interested if it moves above that line. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to edit that. I'm going to say, I'm going to put a note in there and say if this if this breaks above this line, possible buy. So I do think this. I do like this area. Unfortunately, right now the alternative, it's coming back, but it's still very low relative to the oils, 119 out of 197. So if this was higher up in the sectors, I would consider buying this. But right now, I think you got to be a little bit more careful, just based on the fact that right now capital is not flowing into renewables, at least right now. Now that could change because Solar Edge moved up today, and that's sort of in the same group. So we'll see what happens there. But very interesting, and it's a good stock. I wouldn't buy it now. I would watch this and wait for it to move above that trend line. I really need to see it move above about 45 before I'll be interested in it. But I think it's got some potential. All right, well, let's take a look at some of the TikTok questions. Thank you very much for waiting. Okay. Yeah. Basically, and this is the thing. I can't. It's harder for me to take questions through TikTok. I mean, you can type in questions on TikTok, but the best thing to do is to go to my live, and that's on YouTube. And it's kind of all integrated, just the way my software works, to ask a question. So thank you very much for posting that comment on TikTok. I really appreciate that. He talks too much. So, all right, let's take some other questions here. All right, so let's go to okay, JD.com, and I did have a on JD. I did have a I did have a bear trade on this one. I miscalculated. I closed it early because it was moving. It was moving higher. But JD, of course, is one of the big Chinese retailers, and it does look like it's getting some support. It had some very good numbers. I don't know if it's reversed yet. I'm still a little bit leery on this. I'd like to see it move. I'm really going to be more interested if it moves above about 80 on JD. But I think it's a very interesting stock, and it's something that you might want to take a look at. But I would watch this right now and not buy it. I wouldn't be buying JD right now. All right, this is a question on Bitcoin, and I did put out some tweets on Bitcoin, and I think that we've really we're in a situation here with with Bitcoin that it may be we may be seeing it go. It may have another leg down. So let's bring up the Bitcoin chart. And I'm going to use the CoinDesk. The only problem with the CoinDesk chart, I don't like the fact that they use a yellow, which I don't particularly like. But let's let's go back to that. Oops. See if I can bring that up. All right. Well, trying to see where we're at. Well, that was going good there. Oh, there we go. There, back to StreamYard. Super. Okay. Sorry, I was messing around with the different screens there. Oops. Let's turn the camera back on. And let's look at the Bitcoin chart. So, wowee. I'm not, there we go, Bitcoin price, great, okay. So, it's not the best chart, but I don't know if you can see this here, but basically we pulled back, this is the daily chart. Let's go to, let's go to the 1 month chart, kind of show you kind of the general trend on this. It's going to be hard to see this on the screen. Unfortunately, I wish that this was a different color, but if I could figure out how to do a different color, I would. But right now, it's bounced. It bounced right at 30,000. Right about, it says 35,000. Actually went a little bit lower than this, I believe. Let's see if I can get a better chart. I'll have to get a better chart here for you. Let's see. Unfortunately, my charting software doesn't cover Bitcoin, so it's a little bit difficult. Okay, yeah, there we go. There's the Yahoo chart. Yeah, that's going to be the best. All right, there we go. Yeah, let's look at that. Okay, now we're cooking. Okay, so now I'll share that out for everyone. Okay, there we go. It's a little easier to see with the red, I think. We did come down here. We kind of, we did just momentarily get almost down here to about 30. I think really, let's look at the 5-day chart. This is really where it kind of went to the low. I was, and then it's moved back up. I do think we're going to get a bad, but I don't think this is the last that we've seen of. Yeah, currently, if you look at this chart, this is the year-to-date chart. Bitcoin is pulling back, so I think we have a dead cat bounce, but I think it's going to go lower. My guess is that Bitcoin is likely to go lower, at least in the near term, just because of the way it's trading. So I would be a little bit careful. I wouldn't enter in any new positions in Bitcoin right now. I just think it's too risky based on what I'm seeing. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a look at the GBTC. This is what I typically trade for Bitcoin. I'm not currently in this just because it's just the charts aren't lot looking as good as I would like. I mean, that's just the long and the short of it. They just aren't looking as good as I would have liked. This is the chart for the GBTC. The GBTC owns about 4% of the world's Bitcoin. And it does look like we kind of got this dead cat bounce here. We did actually pull right down, as you could see. We did actually pull to 30, but we're going to move, I think, up a little bit here. And I still think that right now is not necessarily the time to be in Bitcoin. I think it's time to stay on the sidelines at least for right now. All right, so let's see. This is JD, and thoughts on Apple. Thank you. I actually have some Apple. It's one of the only big cap techs that I'm actually holding. Everything else I'm doing pretty much is spreads. But it's a very important stock because it's really one of the leading stocks in the NASDEQ 100. What I think is happening is it's struggling to get above the 21-day line. we're still in a zone which, in all intents and purposes, if you bought this correctly at 137, where I did buy it, you would probably be selling it. Now, I didn't sell my entire position. I've been paring back on the position. It does look like it's going to see a little bit of love in the after hours. I do have a call on this one. Probably it's too low at 127, but I do think that we're going to see this probably trend up here a little bit, but it still has a lot of resistance at about the at about this level. This 127 level tends to be a lot of resistance at this level. So if you have it currently, I would hold it. I wouldn't sell Apple right now, but right now it's not a great time, I don't think, to be putting a new position in. I really don't. It's just one of those things. It's just not as good a time as it's been. All right. Okay. Let's look at ETH. I think it's Ethereum. Tilray. Okay. Well, Tilray. What is Tilray? Is that TIL? The marijuana stocks have not been really doing all that well in about 3 or 4 years. But there is a way to hold these stocks. It's called MJ. It's an ETF, and really this is the only way to do it. Constellation Brands bought a lot of Tilray, but their earnings did not do very, very well. Right now, the marijuana space, as demonstrated by this ETF, which tracks it, the symbol MJ, is in the downward trend. So I would be very, very careful in initiating any new buys on Tilray. I think you've got to be very careful, very, very careful right now. All right, question. This is Bitcoin. We went through a little bit of Bitcoin. Let's see a little bit more. Okay, let's look at this. Yeah, Tilray, TLRY. Well, let's look at the Tilray chart. TLRY. And of course, this is a Canadian chart. This is a very bad chart, unfortunately. Just kind of show you why you don't want to be in Tilray right now. I'm going to go to the weekly chart, kind of give you an idea. It is currently in a downward trend, as you can see, and it looks like it is bounced off the 200-day line. Now, it does have a relative strength of 81, which is not bad, but this is a troubling development that you've had with Tilray. They just went through earnings, and unfortunately, their sales were down 8%, and their profits were down. So this is right now a money-losing company. It's losing $1.51 a share per annum. There are very few funds in it, only 4%. Typically, you want to see 20% funds there. So I just think you've got to avoid this one right now. It's just not looking good. So Tilray, I mean, if you've made a little bit of money on it, consider closing your position. But I would not enter a new position. It's just not a good area right now. It's just not trading very, very well. And so I think you have to be very careful about Tilray. Okay. This is a good question. Do you think that Bitcoin will drop to 20K? I mean, who knows where Bitcoin is going to go eventually? But I do think that there is. I wouldn't be long. I wouldn't be long right now, because I do think that. Oh gosh, I am. I really. Yeah. There we go. Cut off my chin. I shaved and I cut myself to shreds. Would I be long? But would I be long Bitcoin right now? Probably not. I'd probably be selling Bitcoin right now. I do think that it's moved back up. Today it would almost made it back up to 40,000, but I think it's going to retreat again, and there's a downward trend. I think it could easily fall below 30,000. That was 3 days ago. That was sort of my level where I thought it would pull back to. It did. It bounced immediately, but there is somewhat of a floor at about 30,000. But I do think it can move lower than that. So I think you got to be super careful with Bitcoin right now. It's just a tough. Right now the cryptos are not trading as well. What is trading well though right now is gold, and what I think a lot of very savvy investors have done is they have been selling their crypto, buying some of the gold shares, and I definitely, that's sort of what I've been doing. This is a ETF called GLD, and it basically tracks the price of bullion, and it's been doing very well. It just moved above basically just 3 days ago, it moved above this very key 200-day level, and it's in an upward trend. Okay, so you definitely want to buy something when it's an upward trend. There's been a lot of buying. This red line here is the average of. This is an exponential chart, so these numbers here are much higher than right at this line. So the fact that it's so much farther above here and it's blue means that there's a lot of people, there's a lot of institutional buying right now of this of this particular ETF. It's the gold shares ETF. There is a big fear of inflation, and there's a good reason for that fear. And so people are sort of moving into this. Also, another one that I moved into basically yesterday is Newmont Mining, NEM. This is the world's largest miner of gold, and it's right now above a buy point. It's actually in a buy zone right now. Newmont Mining. This is another one that you might want to consider. This is very related to the price of gold. If people think the price of gold is moving up, this is going to the gold miners are going to do well. There is another one in this area called Franklin Nevada Gold, Franklin Nevada, and I want to take a look at that chart as well. The thing about Franklin Nevada is that it's not a miner. It's basically they just hold rights in other people's mines, and they're doing quite well as well. They're very, very far above the 200-day line. It's looking strong. It still has a weak relative strength at 52. All of the gold miners have been not doing as well, but this area is improving as a group. It's 128. So let's kind of take a look to see how the gold miners, if they've been improving and how much. And just kind of if we can see money flowing into this particular area. So it's 128. So let's pull up one. Let's get to the ranks here. Let's see if it'll let me do it. Okay. So I'm going to go down here to 128. It's ways down there. Oops. Okay, 128. There we go. Okay. So let's look at this whole group. This mining. This is basically the gold mining group. Oops. Would help if I get there. We go. This is the entire gold mining group, and as you can see, it's moved. They all kind of trade like this. It's moved above that 200-day line. There's some nice movement here. We have a very weak relative strength at 36, but it's improving, and it looks as if basically 3 months ago this was 166, one of the worst refining groups. Currently, it is 159, so it's improving, and it is definitely improving. And today it's 128. So we have a lot of movement in this particular group, the gold and silver miners. And the reason that there's movement in here is the price of gold. That's the reason. So this group is starting to improve, and there might be some actionable things. Now, here's the thing with commodity type stocks. You've got to get into them fairly early because they too tend to kind of, if you get in early, you do well, and if you don't, you don't. This is the reason I bought Newmont Mining. It's the number one, and then Barrick Gold, symbol GOLD, is the second one. So that's kind of an area that you might want to look at that looks like it's getting some love from some of the, some of the other people. Okay, let's look. Jeet, thank you so much. Let's look at TX and get that one right now. TX. And that is, interesting. Long and flat. Okay, so this is a steel company, and the steels have been doing much better than could be imagined. This is sort of a mining. This is a sort of a finisher group. The big one in this is ArcelorMittal. That's the big one in this group. This doesn't look bad. It's got excellent relative strength at 94. And it's traded. It seems like it's moved a little bit below the 21-day line, but it seems like it's got support at the 50-day line. So this isn't a bad one. Unfortunately, this group is just not very exciting in terms of it, but it looks pretty solid. I mean, look at this checklist. It's a 100% checklist. So I mean, this is a solid. Don't expect this one to go to the moon, but I think that you've got a nice trend here. And you could definitely buy this one. The question is there a good entry point on this? I'm looking here. This is a little bit extended, I have to say. This is a little bit extended. So you could watch this one watch list. This one really the last good entry point for this one was about 32. So we're above that 38. So the question is, can you buy it on a pullback? Maybe. It does look like it's moving very nicely above this 21-day line. So could you buy it here? I think you probably could. I wouldn't initiate a very big position here, though. I'd be careful. I'd have about a quarter position, but I don't think this is bad. I think TX is very, very good. It's a good chart. It's a very good chart right now. And the basic minerals have just been getting a lot of love. Now the next one is Ingersoll Rand. This is a big industrial company, very much involved in heavy construction. I'm not quite as bullish on this one based on this chart. We are sort of in a consolidation. It tried to make a breakout above the buy point at 51.61, but it didn't. It was rejected, and it pulled lower, and it's pulled below the 50-day lows. I don't think this is going to break. I don't think this stock is breaking down, but I'm not as excited about this one in this particular group. Now, this is the machinery general industrial group, and it's a sort of a boring group, but they had some very good sales. Again, these groups have been doing good. Anything in the infrastructure area has been doing very well. This has got strong cash flow, nice profits. So this is a very good stock. I mean, the earnings report was very good on this. I mean, it's up 95%. So, but it does look like there is some resistance at about 50. So I think you might want to watch this one. I don't know if I'd be ready to buy it yet. There is a flat base buy point on this at 47.78. So we're just right above that. So technically we could buy this one right now. It is viable right now. This one is viable right now. IR is viable. So, but it does look very good. It looks like a strong stock. It's not going to be a huge performer like some of the techs, but it's definitely good. Okay, great question. This is a question on X2P. I don't know what X2P is. X2P? I don't know this one. Symbol. No, I don't know what that one is. Anyways, okay. Well, all right. So let me just go here and go over. Yep. See if I can share something out here. And I just want to kind of put this out here for everybody. Basically, we have the Dallas Trading Force special Discord service, and if you'd like to take a look at it, super easy to do. Just go to www.venny.com/u, small u, Dallas Trading Floor, and be taking. If you're looking on TikTok and you want to take a look at this, by the way, I have a very nice special trade that I want to show you next on this. This is a trade on Tesla, and it's basically on the it's on the Venny site, so you can see it. You can see it, but let me pull that up. This is a trade that I did this morning, and I think you might be very interested in it because I think it has a high likelihood of success. It's a slightly bearish trade, not a totally bearish trade. I never really want to be that bearish on Tesla, but it's a trade that I'll give you a little bit more information, but just kind of like to run through it here with you right now. Okay, so basically here's the trade that I did this morning, and I'm going to kind of increase the size of this. There we go. So it's a little bit easier to see this. Can we get, there we go. Okay, so you can see this better. I kind of have to arrange these windows a little bit. Let's see if we can get a full, there we go. So that's looking better. All right, so this is a slightly bearish trade that I did this morning. It's a bear call spread, and basically here's how it works. Basically Tesla stock, the way you do this one is you set it up by selling an out of the money call and buying a further out of the money call. And basically this strategy is profitable if Tesla trades lower, sideways, or even slightly up. And the critical factor is that it stays below the short call a price of $6.95. I have a $6.95 strike on this before the expiration on June 21st. And so here's the setup. Here's what I did this morning. And I actually bought more contracts on this, but this will show you an example with using one contract. This is called a spread. The bear call spread basically, this is expiring on June 21st. You basically set it up by using a 625 strike as the short call. So this is the one you're going to be selling, and then the 630 strike is the long call, and this is the one you're going to be buying. So the spread will basically give you $1.50, and at the close yesterday, it translates to about $1.50 of income, $150 income per traded contract. So here's what I did. I bought a June 18th 630 call, and I paid $15.98 for this. So that cost me a total of $15.98 because I only did one. In this example, I did one. Actually, I did 10 for my own account, but this is just to show it for just one. And then simultaneously, I sold the 625 call, which is 5 below that, for a total of $150 in terms of a net credit, not a debit, credit. So the interest cost is $1.50 net credit. Now there is a maximum risk of about $350, but and the return really is only $150. But it just has a 69% potential of success on this. I want to kind of show you the payoff table for this. We're currently right here, and then if the stock stays kind of in this range, if it moves out there and it stays below this 625 area, you see, I'll make the $150. Now, if it starts to go against me, I'll track this. If it starts to go against me, I'll just close the trade. If you'd like to see more information on this, it's super easy. I don't know if you can see this, but I do have there is a deck on this one. You can get that by going, if you're on the if you're on TikTok, it's super easy to do. Just go to my profile, click the link, and then one of the selections is special, trade on Tesla. So you can see that very easily. And if you're there, just sign up for the free service, the free action trade alerts, first and last name and email address, so you can get on that. So this is kind of a fun one to do, and I think this has a fairly high likelihood of success. So hopefully that will be the case for that one. So I just want to show you that. Let's look at some other ones. Let's look at Fastly. This is a question from Rio Madrid, and thanks for watching. I guess you're watching from Hamburg, and that's really great. I've never been to Hamburg. I always wanted to go there, but let's look at Fastly. Fastly has been it was good, but it seems like it's having issues, and so I'm going to go to the weekly chart first here and show you that as well. So let's go to that right next. And with the weekly chart on Fastly, basically we still have this issue of the stock moving lower. It's just, it's one of those things. It's still moving lower. It has a relative strength of 2. Now, will it see some support? Well, it seems like there's a tight pattern forming here on Fastly between about 41 and about $44 a share. But let's look at the daily chart to see if that's indeed the case. Well, it does look like, yes, we have a tight pattern here. So these tight patterns typically are if you're going to buy for a breakout, that typically is a very good sign. Now, it looks as if Fastly may be setting up. Now, I can't guarantee anything, obviously, but this is interesting. We had the sell-off, but then we've had this decreasing volume. That means fewer and fewer people are willing to sell. That's why it's creating this tight pattern here. When you get these tight patterns, now this isn't a 3-week tight yet. It's about a 1-week tight. Let's go to the weekly chart. If we can get to a 3-week tight, then this one might break out. It's basically 1-2. It's basically 2 weeks tight here. So we have to watch this one currently, but there is a potential that we will see a breakout. And where we're going to see the breakout is right at about this level here, right below 50. Currently, it's at 43. I really want to see this up at about 48. So I'm going to set an alert here at that level on that line to see if it moves above that line, then I'm possibly interested in it, because if it moves above that line, this may be the reversal. It hasn't reversed yet. As you can see, this trend line is ever down. If it reverses there, I want to hear about it, and then if it reverses above that, that's really where I want to buy it. So, right now, unfortunately, Fastly, you can't really buy this one, and it's just one of those things. It looks as if it still needs some time, and it's just going to be a tough one, Rio. It's just going to be a tough one. That's the situation with it. All right, Berkshire B. This is of course Warren Buffett's company. And this is a very good stock. I haven't owned it in a few years, but about 5 or 6 years ago, I was buying this, and I did very well in it. I have to admit, it's a very unexciting stock. It's primarily an insurance company, but it's got a good chart. And the only thing about this one, there are no options on Berkshire, so that's another thing you've got to be concerned about. It looks as if, yeah, it says pre-market. That's interesting. 501. That's interesting. Okay. Well, it just seems to be moving on this 10-day line. So it's a good company. Slow but sure wins the race. Right now, it's a little bit extended. The relative strength is a little bit lower than I like to see it at 75. But once again, their sales are up and their profits are up. This is a profit machine. Look at that cash flow. It's unbelievable. 31% of the funds are in this. This is essentially like a fund. So for a long-term hold, it does have a 5% return on equity. If you're going to look for anything for long-term, I would buy this rather than a bond. I can tell you that right now. Is it going to be a stellar performer? Well, maybe over a few. This is not really a trading stock, but it's definitely one you might want to consider buying, because it does look pretty good. It does look pretty good. Well, let's look. This is probably the last few questions, unfortunately, because I'm almost at an hour. Thoughts on ITC? When do you think it will be back to $300? Let's look at it. I am not familiar with ITC, so let's look. ITC and see kind of. Nope. Is that right? No. Okay, I can't. Oh, this is Litecoin. I'm sorry, I read it wrong. Litecoin. I don't know about Litecoin, but let's take a look at Litecoin. On these minor coins, I'm not as in them as some of the other people are, but let's look at the open source digital currency. All right, so let's look at Litecoin. And I don't have this particular this particular one on my normal charting software, so I'm having to go out and see kind of where the pricing is. Going to CoinDesk, they're pretty good. The only thing about CoinDesk is I don't like their charts because you can't read them, but it's a very good company. This one actually is doing a bit better than Bitcoin is currently. I don't know if you can see this. This is going to be tough to see because of the fact that they use a yellow on. I wonder if I can change that. I don't think I can. I don't think it's going to allow me. Let's kind of look at the weekly chart on this one. See how it's been trading. Kind of been trading in sympathy to. This has kind of been sympathy to Bitcoin. I don't know. It looks like it has just moved above 200 once again. It doesn't look like this is a reversal. This is a dead cat bounce. I think you got to be very, very careful right now, because I do think that we possibly are going to be taking a leg lower on this one. That's what it's looking like to me in terms of the chart. I mean, let's look at the 3-month chart. Yeah, we're definitely taking a leg lower on this one, because if we go back to kind of where it's looking, this is the 3-month chart, and you can see it's just it's pulled back, and then I think we're going to get another bounce, probably at about, look, we should get a bounce right about 200. We seem like we're getting a little bit of a bounce, but I think then we're kind of probably going to move lower. So I'm looking at about maybe 150, 120 on this one in about 3 weeks. So I wouldn't be in this one right now. It's just, I think it's a little bit too dangerous. Well, I have probably wasted another hour of your time. Just wanted for everybody out there to show them about our special service, and we have a very nice trade on there today. You can take a look at. But if you're interested in the Discord service, and we have a lot of people on this, and they're doing good. I mean, many of them have made significant amount of money and on this, and have done very well. So we do have that. It is a pay service, but if you'd like to check it out, www.vinnyvhi.com/u/Dallas Trading Floor. So until tomorrow at 2:30, thanks so much for dropping by. So appreciate it. And of course, if at any time, if you want to get on the action trade alerts, very, very easy to do. Just go to, just go to DallasTradingFloor.com. And I just need a first and last name, and you'll be on the action trade alerts. So until tomorrow at 2:30, happy trading.